that salsa in your pantry isn't what you think it is. The jar you've been eating from at the Super Bowl party for 30 years is made from reconstituted tomato paste instead of fresh tomatoes, loaded with more sodium per serving than a bag of potato chips, and owned by the same corporation that makes the chips you're dipping into it. I spent weeks investigating America's salsa brands, and what I found will make you rethink that jar that's been stacked 6 feet high at the entrance of every grocery store in January. In the next 20 minutes, I'm exposing exactly which salsa brands are selling you an industrial product dressed up as garden fresh. By the end, you'll know the difference between manufactured consistency and actual salsa. Subscribe. Let's open the jar. It's the last weekend of January. You walk into a grocery store and you don't even make it to the produce section before it finds you. The display is right there at the entrance. Tostitos chips on the left, Tostitos salsa on the right. The message is not subtle. This is what you buy for your Super Bowl party. This is what Americans reach for. And most of us do reach for it. We've been reaching for it for 30 years. The same jar, the same display, the same position at the entrance of every grocery store in America every January. Not because it's the best salsa available, because PepsiCo spent 3 decades and billions of dollars making sure it was the first thing we saw when we walked in looking for something to put on a chip. PepsiCo owns the chips. PepsiCo owns the salsa. Frito-Lay, their snack division, makes both. The chip and the dip weren't designed to taste like food. They were designed to be bought together, and then bought again and again, at every game, every party, every year. What feels like a personal preference, I always get Tostitos, is a purchasing habit that PepsiCo's retail placement team built into the layout of your grocery store. They don't need the salsa to taste exceptional. They need it to be there when you're not thinking very hard. Before you grab that jar at the display, keep walking. The refrigerated section near the deli has containers with sell-by dates measured in days, not years. That's where the real salsa is. More on that in a minute. PepsiCo is not alone in this. The salsa aisle is not a marketplace of competing food companies. It's a territory divided between 3 corporations that collectively own almost everything on the shelf. Pace Picante Salsa was founded in 1947 by David Pace, a Louisiana native who moved to San Antonio after the war, fell in love with the area, and decided to make a jalapeno sauce worth eating. He started in the back of a rented liquor store. He sourced peppers by hand. He was specific about quality in the way that a person building something for themselves is specific, rather than the way a corporation building something for margin is specific. By the time salsa overtook ketchup as America's #1 condiment in 1991, Pace held the largest single brand share in the category. David Pace died in 1993. He never saw the ad campaign that made his brand a cultural institution. Starting in the late 1980s, Pace ran a series of commercials built around one premise: authenticity is geography.
More Pace thick and chunky salsa. Here. This ain't Pace thick and chunky salsa. Well, woo, doggies.
Pace is made with big chunks of tomatoes, onions, and peppers.
Perfect for dipping.
By folks in San Antonio
Who know what salsa should taste like.
Well, this stuff's made in New York City.
New York City!
Jake, it's time you switch brands.
Pick up a thick and chunky.
The message was that San Antonio salsa was the real thing, and everything else was an imposter from somewhere that didn't understand food. Every American over 40 knows that line by heart. It was one of the most effective brand-building campaigns in food advertising history, turning a jar of shelf-stable salsa into a badge of regional pride and authenticity. Campbell Soup Company bought Pace in 1995 for $1.1 billion. The label still says "Made Right Since 1947." David Pace died before the sale closed, and Campbell's The corporation that now owns the brand that spent a decade mocking food from the Northeast is headquartered in Camden, New Jersey. The Cowboys never found out. You just did. Old El Paso is General Mills, the same corporation that makes Cheerios, Pillsbury, Betty Crocker, and Haagen-Dazs. Old El Paso doesn't live in the salsa section. It lives in the taco kit aisle, next to the hard shells and the seasoning packets, positioned as the complete Mexican dinner solution. Every component from one corporation. Designed so that nobody compares labels because the whole shelf is theirs. The salsa isn't the point. The kit is the point. The salsa is just what comes in the box. 3 corporations, 1 aisle. The competitive market you think you're choosing between is a house of brands built on the same industrial tomato supply chain, managed by the same cost optimization playbook, and sold under different names, so the shelf looks diverse. Stand in the salsa aisle and read the labels out loud. Garden fresh, fire roasted, artisan, chunky, home style, slow simmered, handcrafted, authentic, fresh picked. Not one of those words has a legal definition. The FDA does not regulate what garden fresh means on a salsa jar. There's no standard for Old El Paso's fire-roasted varieties. The word authentic is a marketing decision, not a certification. A corporation can put any of those words on any jar, and the only requirement is that someone in a conference room decided it sounded good. Tostitos Chunky is the most purchased salsa in America. The word chunky is doing the entire job of implying freshness on that label. It implies someone cut a tomato. It implies a recipe and not a machine calibrated for consistency across a 2-year shelf life. The base is tomato puree, water and tomato paste reconstituted, with machine-processed tomato and pepper pieces added back in. Herdez positions itself as Mexico's #1 salsa, authentic, rooted in culinary tradition. It's actually distributed by the same company as Hormel that makes Spam and Skippy peanut butter. The word authentic is on the Herdez label. Hormel is not mentioned anywhere on it. Nearly every shelf-stable salsa in America starts from the same place. Tomatoes cooked down into a concentrate, reconstituted with water, and processed through high-heat sterilization to reach a 2-year shelf life. The bright red color and the consistency that looks the same from the top of the jar to the bottom. The garden on the label is a design choice, not a sourcing decision. Green Mountain Gringo has been making salsa in Vermont since 1990. Real diced tomatoes, real peppers, real garlic. The label says exactly what's in it because nothing in it needs to be explained away. It's shelf-stable, widely available, and it doesn't call itself garden fresh because it doesn't need to. Some people walked past the Tostitos display entirely. They went to a different section and picked up the green jar. Tomatillos instead of tomatoes. A product that looks like a deliberate choice rather than a habit. Something that signals they know what they're doing. Herdez Salsa Verde is the most purchased green salsa jar. Tomatillos are a real ingredient. A Mexican staple with a brightness and acidity that fresh tomatoes don't have. The viewer who reached for the green jar because it sounded more like something from a real Mexican kitchen wasn't wrong to want that. What they got is tomatillos, green chili peppers, onions, salt, a trace of cilantro, and xanthan gum. The same xanthan gum stabilizer running through Tostitos Chunky. The same high-heat sterilization process that destroys the volatile aromatic compounds in a tomatillo, the same way it destroys them in a red tomato. The brightness that makes a fresh tomatillo taste alive doesn't survive 2 years in a sealed jar any better than fresh cilantro does. The green jar went through the same factory process as every red jar on the shelf above it. It just came out a different color. The sodium is 170 milligrams per serving. Not as high as Pace Chunky's 230 milligrams, but still 17 times higher than the fresh version made at home. Because salt is compensating for flavors the high heat took out. The deliberate choice delivered the same outcome as the impulse buy. The label also says nothing about the multinational corporation that owns them. Siete makes a salsa verde. If you reached for the green jar because you wanted something that actually tasted like tomatillos, Siete is the answer the Herdez label was pretending to be. To survive 2 years in a sealed jar at room temperature, salsa has to be heated to over 200 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure, a sterilization process that kills bacteria and gives the product its shelf life. It also kills something else. The volatile aromatic compounds that make a fresh tomato taste like a tomato, the bright, acidic, grassy notes that hit you when you slice one open, are destroyed by high heat. They don't survive the process. What's left tastes cooked and flat, like a tomato that's been on the stove too long, because that's exactly what it is. Fresh cilantro is even more fragile. Heat destroys it almost immediately, which is why Tostitos Chunky and Pace and Herdez never taste like they have cilantro in them, even when the label says they do. Fresh lime juice loses its volatile citrus oils within hours of cutting. Fresh onion loses its bite. The natural flavors listing that appears in nearly every shelf-stable salsa is a single ingredient declaration covering hundreds of laboratory compounds designed to add back some version of what the heat took out. The other thing the heat takes away is the reason to keep sodium low. Fresh salsa made at home contains almost no sodium. The tomatoes, onion, and lime provide all the flavor without it. Jarred salsa uses sodium as a flavor amplifier because sterilization stripped out the natural flavor compounds that were doing that work for free. A 2-tablespoon serving of Paste Chunky delivers 230 milligrams of sodium. The same amount of fresh pico de gallo made at home delivers under 10. The person who grabbed Tostitos instead of the queso or the ranch dip, because salsa seemed like the responsible option at the Super Bowl party, just consumed more sodium per serving than they would have from a handful of potato chips. Salsa should be the cleanest thing on that table. The jarred version is the one that needs explaining. Siete Foods. Veronica Garza built Siete in 2014 in Laredo, Texas around her family's recipes. The salsa has a short ingredient list, no stabilizer system, and a sodium count that reflects real ingredients doing the flavor work rather than salt, compensating for what the heat destroyed. Salsa was never a shelf-stable product. It was a preparation. Fresh tomatoes, chilies, onion, lime, cilantro, made right before it was eaten. It separated in the bowl because real tomatoes release water and nothing was holding them together. The industry put it in a jar with a 2-year shelf life and put it at the entrance of every grocery store in January next to the chips they also owned. Now let's see the salsa you should buy. Walk past the salsa aisle. Keep going until you hit the refrigerated cases near the deli. There, next to the guacamole and the fresh tortillas, is a row of salsa containers with sell-by dates measured in days or weeks rather than years. That is the salsa you want. Pick one up, tip it. The salsa moves. The liquid separates from the chunks because nothing is holding them together. Real tomatoes release water. Real onions release moisture. Real cilantro doesn't bind to anything. The container looks messier than the jar. The ingredients are clearly not uniform. It looks like something that was made rather than manufactured. That separation is not a flaw. That separation is the proof. The shelf-stable jar doesn't separate because a stabilizer system has been specifically engineered to prevent separation, to create the impression of a thick, fresh, consistent product across a 2-year shelf life. The stability the jar promises is the evidence of what was done to get it there. The instability of the fresh container is the evidence that nothing was done to prevent it from behaving like food. You walked past the fresh salsa because it looked less reliable than the jar, because 30 years of stabilized product trained you to read artificial consistency as quality. The jar looks more like salsa than the fresh container does. More uniform, more vivid, more controlled. That's not an accident. That's the design working exactly as intended. The fresh refrigerated pico de gallo at Trader Joe's, real diced tomatoes, white onion, jalapeno, cilantro, expires in a week because it's real food, and real food expires. The Whole Foods store-made salsa varies from store to store and week to week because it depends on whoever is making it and what the tomatoes taste like that day. That inconsistency is not a quality problem. It's the definition of fresh. In 1989, the same year Pace was running its New York City commercials, Christine and David Hume were making salsa by hand at their farm in Chester, Vermont. They grew their own produce, chopped it fresh, cooked it in small batches, and ladled it into mason jars. No stabilizer system, no corporate supply chain, no marketing department deciding which words belonged on the label. Just real tomatoes, real peppers, real garlic, and a recipe that tasted like what it was. In 1995, the same year Campbell's bought Pace for $1.1 billion. Consumer Reports named Green Mountain Gringo the best ready-to-eat salsa in the country. Pace had the campfire commercial and the Super Bowl display. Green Mountain Gringo had the better product. The Humes eventually sold to T.W. Garner Food Company, a family-owned North Carolina business that also makes Texas Pete hot sauce. Not a private equity firm, not a multinational conglomerate managing 14 other brands on the same industrial tomato supply chain. The recipe hasn't changed. The ingredient list is still short enough to read in 5 seconds. No preservatives, no stabilizers, non-GMO verified. It'll never be at a Super Bowl display. It'll be near the back of the salsa section, next to the brands that don't have $1 billion retail placement budget and don't need one. The price is comparable to Pace. The ingredient list is not. In late July, if you live anywhere in the continental United States, you can walk into a farmer's market or grow in a backyard and find a tomato worth eating. Not the winter supermarket tomato, the pale, hard, tasteless one that travels 1,000 miles in a refrigerated truck. A real summer tomato. The kind that stains your shirt when you cut it. The kind that releases so much liquid when you dice it that you have to drain the bowl. That tomato is the entire argument. Dice it. Add white onion, a jalapeno with the seeds left in, fresh cilantro, the juice of 1 lime, a pinch of salt. Stir it. Let it sit for 10 minutes while the lime juice pulls the moisture from the tomato and the flavors find each other. What you've made is salsa, not an approximation of salsa, not a factory product that performs the function of salsa. Salsa, the preparation that existed in Mexico for centuries before David Pace put it in a jar, before Campbell's bought David Pace, before PepsiCo stacked it 6 feet high at the entrance of a grocery store in January. It'll separate in the bowl, the liquid will pool at the bottom, and you'll have to stir it again. It'll taste different every time because the tomatoes are different every time. It'll expire in 2 days because it contains nothing that makes it last longer. It costs less per serving than any jarred brand on the shelf and delivers under 10 milligrams of sodium because the tomato and the lime are doing the work that 230 milligrams of salt is doing in the paste jar. In February, the tomatoes are not worth eating and the jar is a reasonable trade. In August, the jar is not a trade. It's a habit so deeply built into the grocery store layout and the Super Bowl ritual that most people never stop to ask why they're still reaching for it when the real thing is available. Go to the farmer's market this summer, or the backyard, or the produce section when the local tomatoes come in. Make the version with 5 ingredients that takes 10 minutes. Tip it after you make it. Watch it move. That's what salsa was supposed to be. Comment B2E if you made it to the end. Subscribe to support us and check out our ebook in the channel description and pick out a t-shirt while you are there. Thanks for watching.